All right, hello everybody. Thanks for coming to this talk. I'm Nikita. I'm the co-founder and CEO of ChainPatrol. And today I'll be talking to you about do-it-yourself brand protection for Web3 startups. So essentially, this is actually something our company does, but this is something all of you can do yourselves to help protect your users from impersonation, from phishing attacks, and from fake airdrops. Now, to start off, just last year, there was over 600 million lost due to impersonation and phishing attacks. Think about all the fake airdrops you see on Twitter, all the fake Google ads, scammers in your Discord. This is all something that's targeting your community. And so, this is something that you need to be very much aware of. Whether you're a large project, a small project, scammers are targeting your community. They're impersonating your brand, they're cloning your website, they are making copies of your founders' profiles, reaching out to your users, to your community, and trying to trick them to go into a wallet-draining website. This is something that happens very commonly. I'm sure a lot of people here already got hit or know somebody that's gotten hit by one of these. But really what these scammers are going for is they're trying to steal your seed phrase, they're trying to get you to sign a malicious transaction, or otherwise install malware on your computer that then steals all your funds. Now, projects of all sizes are being targeted. What we're seeing here that it's not just like the really big ones, the big L2s, the companies that everybody knows. We're seeing that even small projects with only maybe like 5K followers on Twitter, with just starting off with their basically building up their community, they're already getting targeted. They're getting clones of their Twitter account. They're getting clones of their of their users on Discord, and basically scammers are trying to target your users to steal funds from them. And so what can we do about this? Like, what can you, as somebody that's starting a new project or running a big community, what can you do to actually protect your users? So, first step is track all of your digital assets. So before we can do all this stuff of how do we find the scammers, how do we get rid of them, how do we protect our users, you need to take an inventory of what is going on with your digital footprint. So you want to take a look at everything from your visuals, have a good sense of your brand kit, your obviously company name, your logos, all your brand colors. This is all going to be important for various forms of detection that you can run. Keep track of all of your high-profile people, like obviously the founders, but employees, ambassadors, also like any DevRels. This is especially important because DevRels get impersonated heavily in this space. Know what digital platforms you're heavily present on. For everybody in crypto, that's probably just like your domains and your Twitter profile, but also know that if you have a presence on like TikTok, YouTube, other places, scammers are all over these platforms impersonating your brand. And the last part is like any kind of like vendors you're working with, partners, somebody that you might have launched a campaign with. We, for example, have seen places where people are launching with Deform, and then the Deform is getting impersonated, but targeting another brand, right? And so we've actually worked with them to help in this case as well. So now you've taken inventory of everything you have, all your brand kit, all of your official domains, keep track of your parked domains too, and now let's go into threat detection. So how can you find these impersonations before they hit your users? So to detect threats early, there's a couple of things as a crypto kind of startup you really want to focus on. You want to look at domains, your X account, and Google Ads. These are like the top three. There's also scammers in your Discord, but there's a little bit of a different solution for that. So for domains, you need to keep track of what are your official domains, what are all the X accounts. I highly recommend that if you can use the affiliated feature, make sure all of your team members are officially affiliated to your main account. This helps a lot with determining who's an impersonator or who is real. And then monitor Google Ads. Just basically go and search for your brand like a regular user. Search your own company's name on Twitter, search your founders' names on Twitter, search yourself on Google Search and other engines, and see what comes up. You might be surprised to see, hey, there's an ad here that's above my company name leading to a wallet draining website. And if you find this, okay, what we need to do, now you need to do something about this. So the core is really search for this like a regular user across platforms, and then there's some advanced tools that I'm about to dive into that can take you a step further, being URL scan, DNS twist, and also IOK rules as well that we can look into. So the very first one, this one's like super simple to use, DNS twist. You put in your domain name, it finds all the kind of permutations that are kind of similar. Somebody replaces a letter, somebody adds some words, and basically somebody might try to like adjust how your domain is spelled. For example, here I just put in uniswap.org. It found me a bunch of these. This is just like the start of the scan. You can see there's like 3,400 results here. And it actually goes ahead and tries to find you like, is the site live? Where is it registered? It doesn't just like, blindly just throw a bunch of letters and numbers in there. It actually tries to find things that are similar to your domain and do some basic checks of like, is there a response? Is there liveness? Saves you a lot of trouble. You can see some of these already coming up. And actually what I noticed was these are actually blocklisted by a lot of the major security providers out there, which is great. Then you want to look at URL scan next. URL scan, a bit more advanced. You need to learn how to use it, but it's also not that complicated. So basically, what it does is full scanning of domains. Tons of companies, from security companies to like individual brands, use this to find different. Basically, you can just put in there any website. It'll scan it, take a screenshot, grab all the code that's in the website, and kind of store it. And this is very useful because you can see what are the contents of the site. You don't actually have to navigate if you suspect there's malware there or some other issues. It can scan the site for you. And then when you scan a site, especially even if you don't scan your own site, URL scan actually builds up a graph of visual similarity and of code similarity across all scans that it's run. So for example, here somebody's like scanning Netflix and actually finds all the websites that look like Netflix that have been scanned across this platform. And this is important for you because you don't have the time to go and search for all the different domains that might be similar to yours. And this is what scammers do a lot. They will often go ahead, they'll clone your entire website, host it on a new domain, add -airdrop in the name, and basically email it out to all your users. What this does is, if anybody scanned that domain, if anybody scans similar domains, anything that looks like your website will show up in these results. And this can be a very quick way of finding what is impersonating your site and trying to target your users. Now, this is like in terms of domains. So let's go into a bit of like X or Twitter detection. So in this case, there's just a couple of things you want to do, right? It's fairly simple things, but they can go a very long way. Just look for your brand name and then airdrop. Like Arbitrum airdrop, Optimism airdrop. These things happened way long ago, but there's still scams trying to impersonate these different orgs, right? And even if you're a small company, if there's any news around you of you might be doing a TGE or an airdrop or going to testnet, these are all events that are targeting your org. Start searching for this, even if there's rumors out there this might be happening, because the scammers act based on these rumors. So look for things like your brand name airdrop, your brand name claim. Look for the ticker symbols. If you have a coin or anything else, oftentimes the scammers will be like, oh, this like Stark, STRK like airdrop going on, and then that's what they will use to target your organization. Look for hashtags including your name and this kind of stuff. Very quick, like 10-20 minutes of search, and you can find a bunch of impersonations. We'll go into what to do about them in a moment. Last thing is, this is a big one, Google search and ads. I hope everybody, most people have ad blockers, but if you don't, and there's a lot of people who don't, you will get hit by these, right? And so, basically, scammers can take out ads against your company. Somebody will search your company name, and the first result they see will be a scammer site. You go there, it looks exactly like your website, it drains the user's wallet. And so again, search for both the common terms like brand airdrop, brand login, claim, but also this is something not many people know is Google search actually has a very in-depth query language you can use. And so, for example, we've seen a lot of scammers use popular hosting sites to create thousands and thousands of fake pages. There's stuff like Webflow, Gitbook, Teachable. They get abused for this a lot. And so what you can do is to type something like here, we have this site.star.webflow.io, and then you can say in the title is your brand. And it's gonna find all the Webflow sites that have your brand's name somewhere in the title. And this can help you actually automatically find all the impersonators if they're using all these platforms. The big ones to look out for are like Webflow, Gitbook, Teachable, and GoDaddy sites as well. Those get abused quite a bit. Yeah, so let's keep going. So, okay, so you found a bunch of scams. You found all these impersonators. Like, what do you do about this now? So, two things. First one, takedowns. This is where you need to go to the hosting provider and let them know, hey, like, this is impersonating me, get rid of this. If you have trademarks, this is ideal to have. Trademarks or any sort of like company like formation documents, and just anything that can prove that you actually own this like brand is very, very helpful. A lot of hosting providers will just do it out of the bat. Other ones are more stringent, and other ones are, you really gotta push them to get them to take something down. But a lot of them are quite compliant, and so you can go to their hosting providers and use their abuse emails or their forums to take them down. And there's actually a very useful tool here, fish.report. You can actually go there. They have just a search where you can put in any website, and it'll let you know where is it being hosted and where to submit the abuse report. And so it makes all this stuff much simpler to do. Now, for block listing. So takedowns can take a while. So takedowns can take anywhere between 5 to 8 hours if it's like doing amazing, to like a week to a month, to potentially never if it's a non-compliant hosting provider or DNS registrar. And so this is where block listing comes in. This is something that exists in both the traditional Web 2 space, but it's also grown a lot in the Web 3 space as well, where essentially there's a bunch of different organizations. And we all collaborate together. There's us at ChainPatrol. There's SEAL, also known as the Security Alliance. There's Efficient Attack, built by MetaMask. We're actually all contributing to one major block list of malicious domains that goes out to all the major wallets out there, like MetaMask, Phantom, Coinbase Wallet, like a whole bunch of others. There's a block list that goes out all out there, and there's people on our team, there's people at MetaMask, there's people at SEAL that are all actively looking at these submissions for these domains. So you can go and basically report these. You can go on the Efficient Detect repo. You can also just go to like chainpatrol.io/report. You have a scam link, paste it in there, we'll handle it for you, right? This is something that we do across the whole ecosystem, is basically just finding scams, reviewing them, getting them blocklisted, and ensuring zero false positives. And so now, the wider block list is there's also Google Safe Browsing. Google Safe Browsing is embedded into Chrome, Edge, Firefox, all the major Safari and others, all the major browsers out there. This is harder to land on their block list. They do a lot more checking. It takes a bit longer, but you can report to them as well. They have a report site here, and then like when it lands on that block list, like nobody on the internet can access that site anymore. And that's great for protecting your users, because it's important to make sure that they know that, hey, this is a phishing site. There's going to be a big red warning on the site when you visit it, and it's going to help protect your users from these attacks. Here's an example of the warning you might see if you have MetaMask installed and you visit one of these sites on the block list. You'll just see that this website might be harmful, it's deceptive, that you don't touch it. You can still proceed. We also have a process for disputing these. If any time, like there are very, very rare cases of false positives, you can report them to us as well. We within a couple of minutes will respond to you and get the site unblocked as well. That's a big part of this whole block listing solution, is that the goal is to stop scammers and not to impact legitimate projects in the space. And this is a coordination of SEAL and a whole bunch of teams across the ecosystem. So that's really the two main things that you can do immediately. You found a scam, you go take it down, and you get it blocklisted. Now, as you see this, once you've become a target, the scammers aren't going to be like, oh, well, one thing got taken down, we're done, we're moving on. Typically, if you have a lot of hype around your project or you have a quickly growing community, the scammers know that as well. They're very dialed into what projects have a lot of eyes on them, and they know that's perfectly the place for them to deploy their impersonations. So you need to monitor consistently. Again, URL scan, they actually have an alerts feature as well. Once you have a search query that you see shows you a lot of impersonations, you can actually set an alert for it. You'll get emails whenever there's something new pops up on that search, so you know that, hey, there's something for me to look at here. Create a sheet, just track these, have somewhere where you have even very basic, just a list of the sites. Did you do a takedown? Did you blocklist it? Some of these hosting providers, they really require follow-ups for them to actually remove anything. And then understand the impact on your community. Just be aware, did somebody in your community get hit by these? Have a way for the community to connect to and basically reach out and offer them help, offer them some guidance. There's us and Seal and others have lots of great guides on what to do if you did get hit by one of these, how to secure your wallet if it's still in a secureable state and you didn't give up your seed phrase. If you gave up your seed phrase, you're done. There's not really much that can be done outside of maybe some freezing and recovery at that point. But there's things that we can do to help, right? And so monitor these attacks, understand the impact, and then see how you can help out your community. Part of this is building a clear source of truth. This is very important. A lot of projects do this, but I'm still constantly finding others that don't, is have places where your community can go to find the official links. Have it inserted into your docs, have your Discord have an official links channel right at the top that nobody can type in, right? Just some of these basic things will help a lot for users to double check and make sure that they're interacting with the right site. And then we've got the dedicated channels, and also get your stuff allow listed. Actually, us and Seal and Efficient Tech and others, we all collaborate on kind of a mega allow list of legitimate domains in the space, and this helps with catching scammers faster and verifying legitimate projects as well. This helps significantly with all the security work that goes on behind the scenes in the crypto space. And the final thing is just involve your community, right? You're part of the solution, you as the leader of a project, as the person building this, I think it's the responsibility of all the projects to do something to protect their community, find these scams, help take them down. But your community members actually hate the scammers themselves, and they don't like them. They don't want them to thrive, and they want to get rid of them. So essentially, when no one likes scammers and your community can help, you can create a scam report channel in your Discord, drive users there, let them know hey, if you see a scam, just report it there, have it as part of your Discord onboarding, and then have your mods monitoring that, and then have them trained on what do you do when a user does report a scam? What happens if I see a scam on Twitter? How do I take it down? If I see a fake domain, how do I blocklist it? Have just a process for what to do in this case, because a lot of times those reports come in and people don't really know what to do about them, and if you just make an easy flow for this, it becomes much more straightforward, and you'll see a lot less losses in your community. And there's lots of bots. There's Wick, there's others that are great. There's Sledgehammer, there's Hashbot, and our own ChainPatrol bot as well. They all serve a bit of a different focuses, but there's things that can gate scammers from entering your Discord, that can check for impersonations of your team members, your mods, and your admins. They do comparisons on the profile pictures and the usernames. You can put certain words oh, you can't mention an airdrop about us because we don't have an airdrop going on, and just some basic stuff like this will go a long way to prevent your users from getting scammed. So that's essentially it. Thank you, everyone. I hope you learned something about how to keep your community safe. I think it's immensely important. We're going to have lots of people this year and the coming years coming that are completely fresh, and we need to protect them. The best way to grow crypto is to make people feel like they're safe, they can transact, and that there's really no, that they can feel safe in this new ecosystem. Thank you.